Fuck's sake. Hello and welcome. I'm Steve.
And I'm Live.
And I'm Britt.
And this is Fools with Tools, a podcast for the
Birthday Bodger.
Birthday Bodger.
Birthday Bodger.
Sorry, I had the live stream going and it started playing on my thing. Cool. So how is everyone? What has everyone been up to?
Al has been sick all week and been also working because he's been sick all week. So he has to work twice as hard to catch up for when he's sick. So I've literally been like on the toilet, in bed, at work, in that order.
I think meant all three together.
Well, also at the same time, yeah.
Brett, what about you? What have you been up to?
I got back from California.
California.
So I got back to the shop, and Eric from Hand Tool Rescue was here. I got to help him and Jimmy, put together the 1940 something or other bandsaw, Milwaukee Delta bandsaw.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a lot of fun. And then I played catch up on. People sent me some very neat things while I was out of town. Just so happened. So I got my knife from Nick J. Ryan / Zach Herbeholtz.
Nice.
And then some goodies from the guys that were up here last week, like Graz. And then what was the other stuff? Oh, Eric. Eric specifically brought me not only one of his wrenches, which he put out, which are fantastic, but also I have a restoration project, which will be my first restoration project. And I will not say what it is because it is too damn good, and I was blown away when he gave it to me. So
I know exactly what I was about to ask as well.
Does it include bacon?
Yeah, it's got to include bacon, or it's not a resto.
Those wrenches are beautiful.
Oh,
yeah, they really are.
I need to get my hands on one of those.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying watching.
It's cool. They're back ordered until March of 2019. So
nice.
No worries.
And to be fair, I don't think I've enjoyed Jimmy's stories as much as I have when Hand Tool Rescue's been there, because it's Eric, isn't it? I've forgotten already.
Yeah, Eric is.
And he's fucking awesome. Really, really fun guy. I want to see more of him. I particularly liked it when he was doing the wrenches and he kept making them sing to like classic pop songs and shit.
That's all we listened to was Lisa Loeb and Canadian pop rock.
Amazing.
Nice.
Steve, what have you been up to? How are you?
Since we last recorded, I've been trying to be in the workshop, but I've failed miserably at that, to the point where I went into the workshop the other day and had like maybe 20 minutes of being productive, drilled 3 holes, and then wandered around the workshop for 15 minutes and just looked at Alex and went, I'm just not going to do anything today. Just went outside and sat down, and that was it.
Nice.
Because it's one of those days where I just, where you get a really fuzzy head and it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to fuck it up. So it's just like, I'm just going to bail on this one. But yeah, other than that, I have just been potting around and doing a few other things. I was a friend's, not a stag do on Friday, so I actually had a bit of time out and then really regretted it on Saturday.
Hooray!
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. So, should we move into our topic that's probably going to get derailed quite quickly?
Oh, 100%.
So, as everyone in the live chat is aware, this is live. So, hi guys. This is our first birthday. The first episode of Fools with Tools went out 1 year ago on Wednesday. So, when the actual podcast is out, it'll be exactly a year. And I think both of you guys also have 1 year anniversaries at almost exactly this time as well.
Yes.
Ish.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that at all? Or?
Yeah, go on then.
Does everyone hold on? Does everyone have their towel? All the people in the live stream should hopefully have a towel as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we all have our towels. Al, go ahead and start us out.
Well, I'm worried now that there's people in the chat that maybe don't have a towel. So I think if someone could just do a quick roundup while we're rambling on, make sure that everyone's got one. So I was looking back because obviously it's been a year since the first Festival Tools episode, and that was obviously Steve and Rob. If you haven't listened to the earlier episodes, go check them out because they're really good. different dynamic because obviously me and Brett are not there, but Steve and Rob started off the podcast with a really good dynamic. You could tell they were friends until they got on. And I think it was about 5 or 6 episodes, was it, Steve? Before they came and ruined the show. Yeah. So and just hearing about this 1 year, it's really something to be proud of, mate. But then the penny started dropping. I was like, hang on a minute, like it's been roughly a year since I started, and I went and looked at my first sort of my first YouTube upload, and it was like mid to late August. And I was like, oh, no, I'm sure I was doing something before that. And then I went onto Instagram and I was looking at my Instagram account. I was like, no, my first post was around the same time, sort of like late August. It's like, all right, maybe I'm a bit behind the times. But then I checked my other, so I've got like a personal Instagram that I just use for like food and shit and pictures of Carlos. And literally, it's the 21st, so it's yesterday, the wood arrived for the Hack Shack a year ago. So I literally started building the Hack Shack a year ago today. So it's fucking absolutely brilliant. And the way that it's just everything's aligned. And yeah, just want to talk about like how far we've come and all the amazing people we've met and the things we've done in a year.
Yeah.
And what can be achieved in a fucking year as well. It's really impressive. Right? Like when you get old, you think like, oh, fuck, like time just flies by. But like so much has happened in a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think where we were, where all of us were a year ago compared to now, the fact that we've got a bunch of people on a live stream all asking each other if they've got their towels with them is fucking amazing.
Yeah, you stay up until 4 o'clock to record a terrible Stephen Fry intro.
I mean, JP had his towel with him, but he didn't even know that it was nothing to do with Hitchhiker's Galaxy. That was just because he was watching the live stream.
Oh, there you go. It's because Al's beard is there.
Oh, it's perfect for hot weather.
Oh my god! Yeah. For our visual, it was just disgusting.
But yeah. So I mean, Brett, you didn't really say about your anniversary. You said about it in the pre-show, didn't you?
What?
It was about a year ago that your Shadow Axe video.
Yeah. So 1 year ago, I had put out a few videos at that point, but nothing really that I felt super comfortable, just kind of getting into the swing of what it meant to make things and then produce them for YouTube. I don't think I was on Instagram still. I might have been. I don't know. And then I put out the Shadow Axe video, which I remember being the first video where I dove in full on and just went, I'm going to make a video game out of this. I'm going to do stupid motion graphics. I'll do this video game intro. Everything about that video was, it was pushing the first stylistic or more my brand.
Yeah. It was the first time you were you on YouTube.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And I look back at it now and it seems like miles and miles away and years ago because Muse Workshop was there. And he actually helped me film it because I needed to double shoot something. So it was like putting production, pre-production, post-production stuff into a video just to make an axe restoration. It was like more than Jimmy could understand at that point. But when it came out, I remember he watched it and he was like, that's really fun. That was like really silly how you made the axe appear and everything. I'm like, yeah, well, so 1 year ago was the first video that I felt like was mine.
Yeah.
I hadn't quite met you guys yet, but it was soon after.
Yeah.
So we've come a long way.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing is for anybody that hasn't gone through our entire back catalogue, I did the first few episodes like outside with Rob, and then we got Al on as a guest for an episode, I think. Yeah. You guest hosted for an episode because Rob was unable to. So we got you on. Then you kind of didn't leave, and then Rob left. I think around 7 or 8, and it was just me and Al for a little while. And then we had Brett on as a guest. I want to say it was 13.
It was 13.
It was 13 because it was my lucky number.
And then we had Brett on, and then Brett messaged like a few days later, was like, that was really fun. We should do that again.
Yeah.
And then me and I were like, do you want to just come on permanently? Because 3's better than 2.
Yes, I do.
Yep.
Yes, I do.
Sold.
Yeah. So, yes, Al is technically a squatter.
Yep. Hence the beard.
Yeah.
Well, and hey, just as a quick side note as well, on the 1 year ago was the Axe video. The holster that I just recently put out was video number 42.
Ooh.
42?
Brilliant.
Toy fool!
There you go. So
Steve,
yes,
Steve, what about you a year ago?
yeah,
Have some sort of contrived, forced anniversary like me and Brett did.
Yeah, I put out a podcast a year ago.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that?
Shit. No one listens to that.
Fair enough.
No, I think, to be fair, it was, I didn't really start doing video. I maybe did a couple very short videos just over a year ago, but my first real videos and my first foray into everything wasn't until after getting Brett on. I think it's kind of, I think getting Brett on and seeing him do really, really good high production for YouTube kind of made me go, videos can be fun. I might actually start doing these.
I mean, you were totally crushing it. You were crushing it on Instagram, weren't you? You were already quite, had a pretty decent following already. So you already kind of were in this community, whether you knew it or not.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, I like half the reason I want to start the podcast with Rob is because I was already quite active on Instagram. I'd got to know quite a lot of makers and things through that, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the community. I knew that it was really good in terms of, like, it was a really strong community on YouTube as well.
Yeah. But
I wasn't part of that crew, and at the time I didn't feel like I could be a YouTube maker, as it were. So I ended up thinking, well, actually, I quite enjoy talking. I don't like being on camera, but I don't mind talking. So I had the idea of doing the podcast just because I think I've said before, like there was very little in the way of like a UK European perspective on the maker community. There was Makers International, which, to be perfectly honest, I didn't know Makers International when I first started doing it. Like it wasn't a podcast I'd heard of or started listening to. So yeah, I thought, well, I'll start something with a kind of UK basis sort of thing.
Yeah.
And expanded on it from there. And it ended up becoming this worldwide thing that we now have, like, people involved in our little corner of the community from all over the world. And it's absolutely insane. It's brilliant, but baffling at the same time.
I mean, just, talking about Makers International, I mean, you admitted that you maybe necessarily didn't know of them a year ago, Steve. You weren't listening to them. I think I got them on too, actually.
Yeah.
Before a year ago, they had me on their show. Stupidly before I came and joined you guys. It was about a year ago again. So all this kind of all kicked off at the same place. I know the guys. They were having a similar thing where we did the questions episode. They did a similar thing, and I sent them a question asking about sort of shop layout for the Hack Shack, because I was planning this build, and they really kind of helped out, and Chris and Richard were really nice, and they gave lots of advice. Yeah. And that kind of really encouraged me to continue with the build. And I was like, yeah, maybe I can build a workshop on my own, and maybe it is viable and stuff like that. So, I think they played a big role in certainly my sort of development over the past year, and just in terms of their enthusiasm and their interaction with the community as well. I think they've got a very similar approach to what we're doing in terms of it's not a podcast about them. It's a podcast about all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's really, really awesome to kind of go alongside.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest things for me. Like this last year has been getting to know all of these people. And finding out about different podcasts that I wouldn't have listened to on my own. Like another one that you put me onto was Wood Talk. I never would have bothered listening to Wood Talk if it was just me going around it and trying to find them, because it's wood talk. It's about woodworking. I'm not interested in that. And then you convince me to go listen to them, and they're fucking brilliant. Really, really good fun.
Yeah.
And like I say, I've now got to know people. I've got to know all the guys in the Makers International podcast. You know, Rich is coming down in a few weeks.
Oops.
Yeah, and you know, I'm so excited about going out drinking with Chris Cute again for Maker Central next year, and we were fucking on stage. Like, how fucking crazy is that?
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, and I think it's been absolutely mad this last year, but I've made so many really good friends just through doing this and getting involved.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think it's a testament to not what can be achieved, like, oh, look at us, haven't we done fucking well for ourselves? I think it's more just like I mean, it's more like people, even like people now in sort of the Facebook groups and stuff are like, oh, should I start a channel? Like, I don't know what to do. I'm nervous. Like, you know, should I? And it's like, yeah, fucking go for it. Like, if you know, whether you've got aspirations of being, you know, the next Alex Steele, or you know, you know, or whatever it is you want to achieve, go for it. Like a year ago, I didn't have a channel, I didn't have an Instagram account, anything like that. 2 years ago, I remember sending a fucking email to Bob Claggett, Robert Cleget, saying, oh, blah, 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 what kind of camera do you use? Or some sort of inane, pointless fucking question like that. As an attempt to kind of reach out and go, oh, I'm interested in what you're doing. How did you get there? And then, yeah, like you say, Steve, 2 years later, I'm on the fucking same stage as him.
Yeah.
So, like, my advice to anybody who's going like, oh, should I drop the bomb? Should I press that publish button? Should I come up with a stupid brand for myself, even though I'm just a person in a shed? You know, why do I need a brand? Just do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You know, you're going to make friends, you're going to have a laugh, and hopefully you're going to be creative, and you know, you'll start inspiring other people as well.
Yeah. And we've said it before, but whatever you put in, you will get out tenfold. You know, if this is any example, or if this is something that people can look at, a year ago, I didn't even know you guys a year ago. And now here we are 42 episodes in with a live chat full of fantastic people that are saying
fantastic,
hilarious things, and the Joe ironing. And we've created characters. No, we didn't create Joe Iron. He created the world, one forearm at a time. We've done some amazing things, and to be able to stand on the same stage as some other people. There was only one stage, so it had to be the same one.
And it wasn't a stage.
And it wasn't a stage. And my name's Joe, but it's amazing to know that we showed up at Maker Central, and you know, there were I'm Steve stickers. That's still one of my favorite little memories, is just seeing people wearing I'm Steve, and you go, man, a year ago, where the hell was I? Yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
I mean, I want to get on to kind of some of the other people that have been on this journey in this short space of time as well, because I think a lot of people that get looked up to, you know, you mentioned Wood Talk, Steve. You know, someone like Spags has been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
Same with Jimmy, you know, at least, and the kind of the pioneers and the godfathers of this community have all been doing this for a really long time. But I think a lot of people in this kind of this renaissance of this maker community and this kind of weird second wave that's come and are much more community focused. I think a lot of us are relatively new to it, and I really want to get on and talk about some of those people as well. But before we do, I think I'd really like to know kind of project wise and kind of skills wise and things you've learned over the past year, Brett. Like, I know a lot of your stuff is now kind of heading towards metalwork, whether that's through subliminal Steve working his magic on you, or just your affinity with the medium. But like, what has your maker journey been in the past year?
Confidence.
Okay,
is a really overarching word for it. It's those first few videos that I put out, and even the axe a year ago, it was all I had an affinity for making things, and I wanted to get better at it, but it started out very small. You know, it was all hand tools, drills, very simple tools and machinery. And to be honest, I screwed up so many times when I first got in Jimmy's shop. I'd get overconfident and go, "Oh, I know how to use a chop saw, and I can do a bandsaw." And then you watch Jimmy use a bandsaw, and you go, "I have no idea how to use a bandsaw compared to that man." And so between, learning so much more stuff or opening myself up to the education that I can gain from other people, that's probably the biggest thing. Is I've spent the last year pushing myself to go get educated by other people, and as many opportunities as I can possibly get, it's, bend an ear towards somebody that is willing to offer information for free or otherwise. I've paid for a few things, but a lot of times guys and gals just want to be able to see their skills go on to somebody else so that they can see how they utilize them. And developing this whole, since the beginning, it was all about, this channel is about good vibes and education and entertainment. And I'll stick to that until I'm done with this whole thing. But
education,
right? Education. But a lot of it is I didn't really see the space as much as I was into the YouTube maker space watching it. I didn't necessarily feel like there was a lot of collaboration and a lot of friendship and a lot of I don't know, crossover or I don't know, just multi maker builds and this community that seemed very tight knit. I wanted to get into it because it seemed like it fit me. And so I just ran around as often as I could to try and do stuff with other people, because I think there's just knowledge to be gained from everybody. So yeah, the blacksmithing thing happened to be something that bit me, and I'm super, super into it. But I restored that axe, and it's dull as a butter knife. Butter knife. And now, the axe that I made for Jess cut somebody last night because they touched
because it's dull, you idiot. It'll hurt more.
It'll hurt more. But Jess had the axe last night at Ben's podcast event, and it cut somebody. Ooh. Because if you should encounter God on your journey, he will be cut. So we've come so far, and a lot of it's just knowledge gained from so many other people that were willing to dish it out. So it's pretty amazing.
I mean, I think that kind of leads on to quite a good point. Like I know we harp on about the community within this group a lot, but that's why this podcast exists. It exists because it wasn't about self-promotion or wanting to get, some well-known maker on just so that I can have an in with them or anything like that. That's
pretty much exactly what you said to me, Steve.
It's about getting involved in the community and kind of building those bridges. And I think one of the things that this podcast is really turned into, especially since you guys have joined, is the fact that it is about promoting the community, and it's about making people aware that you can drop an email or a direct message or whatever to anybody within the community, and 99% of them are going to respond. And when they do respond, most of them aren't going to respond with, "I don't have time for this, cough." It's going to be, "Yes, what can I do to help? Have you tried doing this? Have you tried doing that?" or whatever. And get that kind of, keep that community there and keep everyone making stuff. I think far too many people think that other people in the community are celebrities or anything like that, and they're not. Everyone is just a guy on the street. It's, there are very, very few people that I've met in this community that wouldn't give you the shirt off their back.
Yeah. I think we've done a pretty good job of, at least our little community and the following that we've got in like the Fools with Tools Facebook room is exactly that. It's been nothing but a really healthy community. Everyone willing to give lots of advice and have open discussions about things. And it just creates such a good corner of the maker community that is safe and weird and absolutely willing to accept any dumb crap you've got to throw at it. Yeah. There's now the fool fly thing. I can't help but bring that up. Al, I know we're on the talk about the other people, but this is the other people, right? We meet at MC. We go back to Steve's, have this amazing discussion around the table, do the episode, start discussing how we all love Firefly, and now we're all knee deep in this stuff in the intro, and everybody shut their footage for it and everything. You can't plan something like that, and you can't expect that those kind of things are going to just come out of thin air like they do. That just happened, and then we all banked on it. So I love knowing that in this journey, or in this, within the last year, Full Fly is even within the last few months. Maker Central was not too long ago. And this is the ramp up that it's already taken, So it's just, it's a wonderful thing to know that in our space, we've basically just collected a bunch of the same person.
Space.
Or the same people. Same space. So we have this giant cloth, the Fools with Tools cloth towel. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a towel, and we're all cut from the same cloth. So I love knowing that this is where things have gotten themselves to. It's absolutely outrageous, though.
It's fucking nuts.
Like, Al and I just started talking about green fire in October of last year, and I was like, I guess we're gonna be friends.
I mean, that's the thing is
we have people talking about making butter weapons in the live chat. This is the kind of stuff that we're doing for the maker community.
The fact that Keith is just
a croissant.
Damascus butter is just a croissant. Fucking genius.
All right, I guess I know what I'm making for my quote unquote Damascus build.
Just as fucking stable as well.
Yeah.
Fly pan.
What?
When?
Fly pan.
Ply what?
I don't know. Jess still has the best idea of calling Damascus ply steel.
Brilliant. Love it.
The best. She wins.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to get questions from the group. Or Al,
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
keep cracking on about your line of reasoning. Sorry, I kept derailing you.
Yeah, no, go on. Tell you what, Brett, you snuffle some questions out of the group. Snuffle, and I'll kind of ramble on about kind of the other people that have been on the same sort of journey as us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when
What product does Al use on his beard?
beer.
Yeah.
Gross.
Gross. Actually butter by the smell of it. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's no coincidence that like the first Maker I saw on YouTube, before I even knew that Maker was a thing, was Jimmy, and I watched him carve a spoon on a bandsaw or something. I was like, "What? Is that how you make spoons?" Like, I didn't know that's how you made spoons. It's like, no, it's just how Jimmy does everything on a bandsaw. And I was hooked instantly. I was like, boom, like subscribe. Oh, I need to sign in and log in and have a YouTube account. All right, I'll sign in, log in, subscribe. Boom. All right, watch all Jimmy's videos every time they come out. And it was like, oh, who? And then I think it shows like at the bottom like some of his favorite channels or something like that. And it was like, oh, Bob. I was like, I like to make stuff. I was like, oh, awesome. This guy's like a nerd and he like does electronics and stuff like me, and I get it. And I kind of watched it and stuff. And then I got into things like Ben Heck, who's super nerdy, super geeky. Lots of programming and a bit more kind of fun, like cultural references as well, which these guys weren't doing. You know, Bob and Jimmy were just like making stuff with their personality. But if you watch something like the Ben Heck show, he'll just cut to like a scene from Predator. While they'll be out in the car park, like recreating, like do it. Yeah. And it was just fucking right up my street. I was like, what? You can just fuck around and do your own thing and make your own television shows. This is fucking amazing. And I was watching those guys for sort of 12 months, and then suddenly it was like, right, I just watch YouTube now. I don't watch television. This is fucking brilliant. And then I found Average Joe. I can't remember where I found him from. I think it's from a link from somewhere. And it was the first time I watched one of Joe's videos, and he said right at the end, he got through. He was making a really nice project, and he got right through to the end. And he was in a tiny little workshop. I was like, this guy's cool. He's from Birmingham, or well, he's not.
Birmingham.
And he had a tiny little shop, and he didn't have very many tools. This was before he got all big and famous and loads of sponsors. Yeah. And he's just making cool stuff. And I was like, this guy's really humble. He's really down to earth. He's got a sense of humor. And he got to the end, and he was like, if you like that, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. And I was like, fuck yeah! Yeah, like that's right on. That's like the best thing. It was the best line I've ever heard in a YouTube video, and it just kickstarted this thing in me. Like, these are just good fucking people, making good shows, good content. And I want to be a part of it. I want to somehow kind of make friends. So I reached out to Joe and I started talking and stuff like that. And it started me on this journey of finding out all these other people in this. It was on similar journeys to us, you know, like you said, they're just people. They're not they're not people who went to stage school and fucking. I know Jimmy like has TV shows and stuff, but like the majority of us have just regular guys and girls who have got no background in media or entertainment, no way of like presenting themselves other than themselves. And I think that's what makes it so fucking humble and so easy to connect, because they're just people. They're not a character. It's not scripted, you know, for better or worse. It's just basically who you are. Yeah.
I mean, I must admit, like, it's funny you say that about that, because obviously I was getting into blacksmithing, which is one of the reasons why I started watching a lot of YouTube makers. And I kind of found that it was either a case of people that had like really high production values and making videos and making YouTube videos was their career. It's what they did, and you know, they had these really nicely done videos and everything. Or it was like blacksmiths that had obviously had no technology training at all, and just wanted to make a quick video, and they were putting out these kind of crappy quality videos that just weren't very interesting. They weren't very entertaining, and just a bit crap. And it was Rory, Dirty Smith, and it was him that made me realize that actually you can be like a part-time YouTuber and have a full-time job and do loads of other stuff as well and still produce good quality content. I think that was one of the things that kind of pushed me on quite a bit, was the fact that I wanted to what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to make these generic, boring, one-shot shitty videos that nobody really actually enjoys watching. They just feel like they have to watch because they want to try and get the tips or whatever, or understand how to do that process. And he was putting out these videos that you don't even need to you're not just watching just because you want to learn that particular technique. It's actually a fun thing to watch. And it's been really nice watching that become more and more prevalent in the community, and more people putting out videos that are fun, that are interesting, that aren't just someone making something, that are doing things like with you both doing stupid videos and putting loads of special effects and things like that in that are just purely entertaining to watch, whether or not you give a shit about what they're making.
Wait, what do I do?
What?
You ask some of those questions because they're really fucking good questions.
Yeah.
Right. You guys threw us questions and now we answer them. James, Malton Make, do you struggle with balancing time watching videos, making videos, and normal life? Do you struggle?
I don't have a normal life, so no.
What is that? Dr. Multi-Mate face. Fantastic. Al, what about you? Do you struggle?
Yeah, fuck it. It's such a burden. It is the struggle. It's fucking white people problems. I haven't got time for my YouTube channel. It's fucking nightmare. Yeah. Like I time is the only problem. Like money, I can sell stuff, I can beg, steal, borrow, I can make things and sell things, but time is the fucker.
Yeah.
So the balance at the minute for me is non-existent. To the point where I'm like fucking literally like I'm gonna leave my job.
Yeah.
Because it's just not realistic. Even if I was just living a normal life, it's ridiculous. So for me to try and live two lives, it's just not achievable at the moment. So in terms of like normal life, in terms of like friends and relationships and stuff, it's fine because I meet you guys. I get to spend hours every Sunday with two fucking awesome people and all the other awesome people that are listening and watching and joining in. I can get to go and drive over to Hull and spend time with Steve, or go to see Tim in Huddersfield. You know, it's like I'm living a normal, healthy life through this community. The only clash for me is this work balance between kind of being a maker and being a worker. And I would love to be able to make for a living.
Yeah.
So then both of the things can be the same thing, and I've just got one sort of avenue for passion and love and energy. So yeah, the minute it's a tough balance, but I couldn't be fucking happy. I've never been this happy in my life.
Yeah. No, I mean, I must admit, I'm kind of similar sort of situation to Al, although I don't work anywhere near the amount of ridiculous hours that Al does. I get all of mine done in a forced 4-day stint, and then I have 4 days to do my other job. And finding the balance between them, watching videos. There's so many people's videos that I've got a backlog of videos that I want to watch because I just haven't had time to do it. I'm quite fortunate that I can catch up on a lot of them at work on a 12-hour shift. If there's nothing going on, as long as I'm paying attention to what else is happening, I can have a video playing in the background or on another screen or something. But yeah, like Al said, like the winning the lottery would be fantastic because I wouldn't have to have a job, but I'd rather win a competition where I get another like 12 hours in a day, because that's what I lack at the moment is time. I can't do all the things I want to do. That's why I haven't put out a video in ages. I've got 3 videos sat on the computer waiting to be edited, but I just don't have the time to go through and edit them.
Of all the Justin Timberlake films that are out there, that is actually a pretty good film. The one where, is it In Time?
Something
Where
like that.
the currency is time. It's fucking brilliant.
I have never heard of this film.
It's a good film. I promise you it's a good film. Go watch it.
Okay.
All right, I want to move on to more because we have more questions.
Questions.
So, John D. Harvey, Mr. Harvey himself,
John.
said, "Who are some guests that you'd like to have on the podcast in the coming year?" Al, go.
Neil
McKinley.
Yes.
He was
We
my
need to
first,
sort that out.
he was my first spiffy, and I can't get enough of him.
Yeah. His Instagram stories are fucking brilliant.
Doesn't matter how much he hates English people. I want to. No, he's DTF. He's up for it. He's
Cool.
We just need to set a date.
Cool. Well, let's try and sort it out soon.
What about you?
Steve's already on.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Steve, who do you want?
I don't know. Like, there's about 4,000 people, mostly people within the Fools with Tools Facebook group, because it's people that we interact with and people that we like getting on.
Colin Fung.
Sorry. Oh yeah, Colin. Yeah. But I was going to say the two that I've enjoyed having on probably the most is.
Don't play favorites.
Oh, here it is. Be careful.
Well, no, I was going to say Red because
Yeah.
Red's everyone's favorite. But getting Andy Berkey on, because
Nice.
he's just such an influence in the entire community, and just a fucking lovely guy.
I think he needs to print out his philosophical blockbusters referenced in the intro.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
It actually made a lot of sense when I was looking at it to go like, who is this God person anyway? More of God's mistakes, and it's just pictures of churches.
Yeah.
Churches.
But yeah, I think there's probably quite a few blacksmiths that I'd like to get on, but that's just a long list.
Yeah.
What about you, Brett? Who would you like to get on?
I'm going to pull Caroline at some point.
Yeah.
She needs to be on because I think we don't have a lot of prop makers and people that do it for a full-time gig. You know, there are a lot of us that share a lot of similar aspects of our jobs or aspects of our making. But Caroline being a full-time prop maker and the kind of things that she's done and the scale that she's done, as well as, you know, recently she did she got to post the sloth costume, and it like exploded the internet and showed up on a bunch of like clickbait websites and stuff like that. So that's just a different dynamic that I'm not really used to. So we asked Caroline about it like 6 months ago, and she said no. And I know she's in the chat right now, she's supposed to see this, but now she's like, I'll be up for it.
Yeah. Now that she's pressured in the group.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get her on once she's done her first video, which I'm pretty sure she said she was going to do soon.
There you go.
Got to put that first video up.
Nice bit of blackmail. Never heard.
I hope it's the super squishy sloth face that she was working on. It's so silly.
creepy.
Okay, I want to move on to the next question. So
there are also more guests we want on, and we'll have on.
Yes, there's enough people. We want everybody on.
Jim, I want to get Jim on. Wave
The
cycles,
old
Jim.
wooden ship, Jim.
Yes.
himself. All right, Nick Human Droid, Mr. Sorry, I always laugh at his name when I see it. What's next? Where do you go from here? Like, what's the next step? Try and give me like a short
Winchester.
Go to the Winchester. Have a sit down. Cornetto. What's the next step? What's the closest, soonest thing that you guys are planning on doing in terms of your makerisms making?
Get the school built so that I can quit my job and go full-time making.
Done. Ow.
That's the next step.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the next big step.
Okay, big step. Quit my fucking job and find some way to buy beans.
There you go. It's all about getting those beans.
Yeah. The next step is getting to fucking New York to go to a blacksmithing class.
Yeah.
And meet more new people in a new environment that I've never been to, and progress myself as a maker.
Yeah.
I still look at that as the quintessential coming together of the fools, because Rory is basically the reason that we all know each other. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just quickly before we move on to the next question, I just wanted to.
I got more questions.
I don't know, but I just wanted to quickly point out the fact that when I think it was before you joined the Hangout, when we had Zach on the other day, one of the first questions he asked me and Al was, "So, do you guys do this full time?" And we were both like, "Oh no, we've got proper jobs." Why the fuck not? Just quit. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, he was.
But Brett, what about you?
All right. What's my next step?
Yeah.
Make enough beans on my own to be able to not work for Jimmy. Like I love, the opportunity that I've been given, but honestly,
you want to kill him and take over his.
Well,
shop.
there's plenty of yeah. I really don't want his pile of dirt though. There's plenty of people that have asked me. They're like, "Oh, it must be so cool. You're just making full time." Like, well, I mean, not for myself. I get maybe 3 or 4 hours a day after I'm working for Jim, and there may be a day here and there that's kind of few and far between where I get it fully to myself. But I spend anywhere between 8 and 14 hours, if we're busy, working at the shop, and then I have to go and try and produce my own stuff. And I would like to be able to just do that full time, but it takes a hell of a lot. You guys are struggling with it right now with a job. I'm more into it with my quote unquote job. But it sucks. I want to be able to do it full time and be able to focus on my own stuff, because I really think I could bump the production even higher and the storytelling even higher and do more, have more fun with it. It's all about having fun, and I don't want to make it seem like such a task. Okay, I want to move on.
Next question. These are good.
Brothers Make. Oh, these two. They are a pair. Are you all coming to Maker Central next year? And if so, how will you make your stage appearance bigger and better?
First of all, make it a stage.
Yeah.
Then it'll be bigger automatically.
Second of all, make t-shirt distribution more dangerous / fire related.
I'm up for flaming t-shirts.
Yep.
I think next year, I think we've kind of briefly discussed it, but I think we want to. We've got a lot of plans afoot for that, and I'm not sure how many of them we can really talk about.
Yeah,
but none right now. We're going to move on to more questions.
No, but just in terms of just us, and the kind of versus what we did last year. So basically, last year, Nick just said, "There's 20 minutes at the end of the day. Do you want to go on stage?"
Yeah,
stage. And we were like, "Yeah, of course." And then it just turned out, we actually could maybe take some time and do something. So I think just as a bare minimum, we want to do something like this where it's like a full live episode, get a proper subject, some topics, really interact with the audience. We were kind of panicking and stressed that we were only going to have sort of like 15, 20 minutes by the time Kel had introduced us. So we kind of rushed into this thing that we'd really planned. I think a much looser, much more relaxed, much more sort of two-way thing will be much more beneficial for everyone in the audience as well.
Yeah, and I already stepped on Steve's toes for not letting him do the actual intro to the goddamn show.
Didn't do Al Shack, you know.
Didn't do Al Shack.
It was a fucking piss show.
What's a Shack?
Well,
Okay.
So basically, next year we're going to have a little bit more organization and
organization as we go.
And we will actually all join in and not just let Jess sing on her own, which is her name.
Yeah, because the Full Fly crew will definitely be there. So, all right. Next is from Figment's Made. Are you actually planning a collaboration Fools with Tools making thing for Maker Central next year? So, again, there's some things that we can't really talk about, or some things that are a little bit in the mix, but
in the pipeline.
In the pipe. Are we? What's the plan in terms of not the on stage stuff, but just say our presence there?
Wave Cycles is going to help us build a boat, and we'll get Laura to arrive on the boat and just drive it through the fucking reception.
So if
you drive boats,
so it's the old wooden ship building an old wooden ship.
Yep.
Shipception.
Yep. Ship.
Perfect. That was it for the questions that came in a little bit earlier. I think I saw a couple more come through, but I didn't quite pull them.
Fuck them.
Yeah, there was a load more came through, but I stopped paying attention to the chat.
Great. Well, thank you for your questions. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of them.
Although, to be fair, looking at the time and considering how many spiffing questions we've had, I think it might be time to move to... There we go. Just for everyone listening, that happens every single week.
And we didn't even screw up the intro as many times as we always do.
I genuinely thought that was going to be like 8 times today.
I mean, Al said I'm live, so that's close enough. All right.
Also true.
So
cool.
We're doing a 1-year anniversary /
Al, what's the order?
What's the order, Al?
Steve Albrecht.
Cool. Steve Albrecht.
Yep.
I'll wrap it up at the end.
Okay, cool. In which case, I'm going first. So my one is someone who has been a big part of the Fools with Tools Facebook group and community, and the reason I've chosen her is because she's just starting out now on her. Well, she's not starting out on her journey, but she's really starting to push who she is and push her brand and everything else. And that's Tanda from Tandem Madison Makes. And she's had this amazing post-apocalyptic story idea that's just incredible, and I'm so super excited to see how this comes together, and I can't wait to see what she's done in a year's time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I am hoping that it turns into an opportunity to go full Mad Max Road Warrior, post-apocalyptic. Everybody's gonna come out like Tanda's got to get away, or got to figure out a way to let a few of us come over there and go full post-apocalyptic Mad Max garb.
Mad Shack!
Mad Shack!
Yeah, so I can't wait to see what's happening with that, because it's going to be amazing.
Yes, spiffing indeed.
Yeah. So, Al.
That is me. I've changed my mind. I'm going to go a two-way spiff off.
Uh-oh.
Unheard of. I think the first has kind of been on a pretty much similar arc that I have, and that's Soph, in terms of kind of YouTube especially. She was like you, Steve. She was a little bit more established on Instagram already. She was doing a lot of her kind of making thing, but she really ramped it up about a year ago. Really kickstarted what she was doing, the direction she was going on, and she's just gone from strength to strength. I think she's really found her stride. She's trying different things, trying different angles, putting shitloads of energy in. And it's really taken her places. And Sophie's kind of been a massive inspiration for a lot of people, a lot of young people as well, and something to be really proud of, and something that I think a lot of people should look up to. And she's definitely come a long way in a year. It was around Christmas, and I think it was kind of like, let's get Sophie to 500 before Christmas, or 1,000 before Christmas or something. And she absolutely smashed it. And she was kind of worried about subscriber counts and things like that. So
smashed it.
She's done a great job. My second dual parallel spiffy is Mr. Andy Pugh.
That man.
I think again, he's been kind of doing this in the kind of social sphere for about a year now. He was similar in that when he started out, he wasn't sure. He was like, "Oh, should I do it? You know, what am I got to offer?" He launched a few channels at the same time. One that was really focusing on physics, one that was about his kind of making and woodworking skills, and one that was a bit more of a personal channel. And I think he really had a lot to offer, the three of them. I think because of work complications, he had to kind of put it on a bit of hiatus. But it's really kind of good to see Andy posting on Instagram, you know, telling his stories, making things. And I think he's got a lot to offer this community, and I really enjoy listening to his voice, for one, because he's got a fantastic voice. But he's a super intelligent guy, super humble, super caring, and a great teacher. So I got a lot riding on Andy, and I think there's a lot more to come from him in the coming years.
Definitely.
Well, he has to purchase an angle grinder because somebody watched one of our friend makers do a sword with only an angle grinder, and now an angle grinder has to show up for a little girl. Not a little girl. I think she's like a teenager. Yes. Sorry. My turn?
Brett, your turn.
Brett. Hey, okay. So I'm going with, she's been super, super supportive of me. So that's, 50% of the reason, but also her videos are very different and her own personality in them and everything. And she's developing a style, and I got to hang out with her at the woodworking event. But Figment's Made, I know you're in the chat, and she's just super supportive and really into everybody's work, and she's constantly involved, and she's really talkative and keeps conversations going on social media and in the Fools with Tools groups. So she's doing awesome. I can't wait to see what happens in the next year with her, because her work is just different. She's doing a different approach, and she's got she's got boots to fill. Boots. Fill your boots. Yeah, so Sharon is spiffing Figment's Made.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's definitely someone that's only very recently popped up on my radar, and she's fucking awesome. So,
yeah, her hashtags are amazing. Yeah. Right. She always does an amazing job.
Cool. I think that wraps it up.
Al Grinder.
Fuck's sake.
Our group is amazing.
Red, I'm disappointed with you. It's Brothers Make as well. Fuck's sakes. Right. Any other business before we go? Because this live chat's getting
raunchy.
Well, I would say go ahead and wrap it up, Steve.
Cool. Right. Well, you know where you can find us. Al's Hack Shack, Skull and Spade 13, and Moonshine Metalworks.
Al's Hack Shack!
There we
haven't done that in forever, and
we need to bring that back.
We do need to bring that back. If you want to support us and see what we're up to and have an MP3 of the Red Smith saying "hot as balls," then look at our Patreon.
And also a music video featuring.
Yes, also an amazing music video.
If you didn't know that we also produce our own music videos.
Some of the best instruments, the highest quality instruments.
I would say the highest quality.
Are you mocking the trumpet? That has 3 LEDs in it, Steve.
I love that trumpet so much.
It's fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, we're there. There's the Facebook group as well. There's everywhere else. And if you don't want to do any of that, then just go and support other people in the community, because there's some fucking awesome people out there. Brett has an ending statement.
Yes. Just remember, the answer to life, the universe, and everything is 42.
Bye! Bye! Let's stop.